The bad news in the games industry continues. It is
Tell me right now.
incessant, exhausting, and not done yet. Sure, we just had PlayStation with all their physical media stuff, and Xbox, you might have thought, had a good opportunity to counter this, to do the funniest thing, and we will talk about that later. But right now what they've done is that Asha Sharma, the new CEO, has fired 1,600 people ahead of firing 1,600 more later this year. She was also handsomely rewarded for this, being
I was started from the beginning. Just fuck it. Fire everyone. Clean slate. Start hiring from zero. And you don't need so many management, and you don't need so many. Yeah, honestly, yeah, just have a full vibe.
named for a Federal Reserve
Yeah, you like his hair? It's beautiful. It's luscious.
task force examining how new technologies, including AI, affect employment. So that's
You could just AI generate developers. And you could program it so that they always agree with you. And you don't have to fire anyone.
great. But really, the big news that is happening here is that the restructuring of Xbox from 4 different studios being thrown out or gutted, or in some cases, a surprisingly humane way, especially in these times where I think we're now used to just the worst thing possible being the one that happens. Studios being sold, and also they let them keep their IP. That's pretty good comparatively. But the biggest hit is definitely Bethesda, as in like ZeniMax in total, but also Bethesda Games
I will never understand how companies who made legendary games just suddenly lose the ability to make the games. And I understand that, you know, like most of the devs are leaving and whatnot, but you have the blueprint, you have the code. It's like all you have to do is make something similar. Product manager. But why would you hire so many product managers? You know, like it's so fucking stupid.
Studios. You know, the people behind Elder Scrolls and Fallout, the stewards of 2 of the biggest franchises in gaming, because they have now lost control.
It's almost like people are not getting hired because of their skills, but maybe due to something else. I can't quite put my finger on it, but there must be something, other qualities that they would be hired upon if it's not the skills and their experience.
Control of their IP, including the fact that the boss, Jill Braff, over at Bethesda, said that they needed to rethink how Bethesda worked and stop letting every studio work on their own little thing, and kind of start pooling resources together to have a release plan that makes more sense, which is, in fact, a huge shakeup when it comes to production and management, and could lead to even more difficulties down the line, honestly. But you know what they say? What else can you do when you've hit rock bottom? Except, I guess you could dig down deeper, who knows? And we're primarily going to talk about the shuffling going on at Bethesda and what that could mean for some of those franchises, some of them being the most beloved in gaming and some of the closest to my heart. I have made an active effort to not talk about Bethesda for a pretty long time because I was just tired of bad news, but this is big. However, before we get into that, I just want to make something clear. Layoffs are never a good thing. It's never a happy moment. And the reason it's not happy is because in these enormous...
I think it's a good thing if you're laying off people who are not working well. But honestly, most of the times it's not even the devs that needs to be laid off, but it's the fucking HR department with all the managers and all the meetings and whatever.
Groups of people, inevitably innocent people, lose their careers, lose their happiness, their...
Okay, you know what? Anyone who participated in developing Concord, you are not an innocent person. You have committed a crime. A war crime. Like, one day you will stand in front of the pearly gates and like St. Peter is going to be like, nah, bruh. I don't think so.
Mortgages, their stability, and lose the opportunity to do great things. But in those layoffs, we have to accept the reality that there were bad apples that can spoil the bunch. That there are people who were screwing everything up royally, probably. To the point that Asha Sharma says that they are trying to reduce the layers of management over at Xbox from sometimes 14 down to a maximum of 5, ideally 3.
I think you don't need even 5. Why do you need so much? Yeah, why do you need even 3? Why don't you just have like 2 and you call it a day? Why do you need so many?
14 layers of management. Imagine being at the bottom of that totem pole. For example, QA at Bethesda. Bethesda also a company known for union busting and not really caring too much about a lot of their employees. And having to push something up 14 layers of management. For those of you who don't know, I come from a corporate background and I once was in a department that had 5 layers of management, 4 of them being a total of 1 person in each layer. So that was fun. I don't want to imagine more, right? Like, how do you get worse than hell? But it is just blatantly obvious and almost...
Well, you see, it could always be more.
Cathartic. That some of these institutional problems that are happening within these companies need solutions, especially if they are ever intending to compete again. It is so important to bring up the fact that Bethesda has not put out anything meaningful since Fallout 76 unless you want to pretend that Starfield is good. And I get it, pretending can be fun, but we should stop doing it from time.
Yeah, like, stop being delusional. Okay. Before I shit talk, how much did Starfield... I mean, it had a nice peak, but, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm surprised that it's still this active. You know? Considering how everyone has sort of like a horrible opinion of it. There was an update in April. It's not too bad. I'm sorry. It's still... That's so sad. It's still better than Marathon. That's actually crazy, bro. Low bar. Listen. Yes, it is.
Time to time. The Elder Scrolls 6 has allegedly been in production and then not been in production and then been in production, and we promise it's coming soon, for so long that it is one of those Ship of Theseus moments. Is there even people left to make that game the game we want to play? Is it even going to be anything worth playing when you look at Bethesda's track record and the people that have been there? And
I don't know how the gameplay is going to be, but I guarantee you there will be not a single titty inside. You know, all of them titties will be covered.
And have gone and where they set their priorities. This is the same studio that licensed the deal to make Fallout a TV show, had it release in season 1 and be massive, had it release in...
The whole controversy surrounding Starfield was so stupid. I thought there wasn't a controversy, it was just really empty and boring, sort of.
Season 2 and still be pretty good and still do very well and launch Fallout into the most popular that it's ever been. And all they did for it was release Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition, which absolutely broke the game. No tie-ins, no forward thinking, no actually putting out games. It's very difficult to say that Bethesda Game Studios...
You know, I'm starting to believe that the best job must be to work for these companies because they don't really do anything. It sounds like all of them are just like jerking each other's off in like meetings while they talk about nothing. Nothing is happening. No one gets shit done. It's just all like yap, whatever.
Has done any real work that is worth experiencing for almost a
like retweeters. Ah, fuck.
Decade now. So maybe some of these layoffs are necessary, and some of this taking away their control is also necessary. And it doesn't stop just at Bethesda Game Studios. I would argue that some of this also matters when it comes to studios like Arcane. And I'm going to talk about that and the potential of that and if this could somehow be good. So, hi, I'm Mug, and if you're new here, welcome. And if you're not new here, welcome back. You are looking absolutely stunning today.
Oh, why, thank you. Wow, look at that. He complimented you, boys. You're looking absolutely stunning. Wow.
That's just the truth. Somebody had to say it. I do apologize for my voice. I may not be sounding one.
He's very deep. I like his voice. It vibrates just pleasantly in my ears.
100% today. I did take a small vacation to go to a music festival over the weekend. And of course, that's not allowed because the video game news never stops. And I came back to most of my audio equipment for some reason having caught on fire from being off, I guess. But yeah, apologies if like my voice isn't 100% back yet. You know how it works. If you like the video at any point, hit the like button. Helps a ton, and having it spread throughout.
Do you remember when people were saying that Pirate Software is faking his deep voice? That's what I thought about. That you said that like chicks dig the deep voice.
The YouTube algorithm, and if you really like the way that I cover video games, news, reviews, essays.
You don't remember that controversy? Because there was like an interview where his voice was like so much more higher pitched, and now he's like really, really deep, you know?
Everything about this hobby we love. Consider subscribing, but please do not do it until I properly earn that subscription, because that subscription matters. With all of that out of the way.
He's trying to seduce you. I know what he's doing. He's trying to be super charming and handsome and approachable and everything. It's working.
Hey, let's get into it. So yeah, among all the layoffs and the studio closures, one of the big deals is the fact that Bethesda is losing the complete creative control over their IP. And it's not some threat. It's not a promise that it's going to happen. No, it already has. So Xbox, aka at this point, I guess, Asha Sharma, has decided that Obsidian should be making a new Fallout game, and that they are, or at least they are beginning right now.
Okay, so if they're starting right now, then in roughly 10 years, you might get something. Like, are they planning these games for our lifetime, or is it just going to be for like the next generation?
Under the leadership of Josh Sawyer, which, remember that whole Ship of Theseus thing from the intro about who has even left at Bethesda to make the games that we expect from them? To be honest, I think the same thing can kind of be applied to Obsidian. And even though Josh Sawyer is one of the leads from New Vegas, we really have to be careful with who else is there and how they understand.
Remember, we just watched the previous video. Just because there's one famous person who carried the previous game, it doesn't mean anything. He might have been also to Epstein's Island. You don't know that.
And the franchise. So I'm not really going to sit here and celebrate Obsidian doing this, potentially a New Vegas 2 or whatever they want to do. At least not blanket, right? But I do think that this is an important and really valuable move. As I said, Bethesda has proven time and time again that they can just sit on these IP and do nothing and pretend that they're working and somehow cash in a paycheck. That they refuse to move from their old ways of the engines that they use, the philosophies that they follow, and how they have evolved their games from.
I guarantee you, if they would use the old engines and they would make a game on that, and if it would be on par with the level of the old games, but it would be new content, people would be still happy for it. I don't think anyone would fucking care. Yeah, sure, people would be like, oh, the graphics, but the real gamers wouldn't care.
Being very unique and very focused on.
I think if people could trade the quality of the graphics for how back then people made like the game design levels and whatnot, and the gameplay could be as fun as it used to be, no one would care about no one cares how hyper realistic your game is, honestly.
On the exploration part of things, on the storytelling, on the actual experience of you having an adventure, and kind of every player being able to tell their own stories of, you know, Tamriel or the Wasteland. And specifically with Fallout 4 and 76 kind of proven that they really just wanted to make like bad Destiny, bad Borderlands with a bit of Fallout flavor.
Sexy mosquito.
And Obsidian being a much smaller studio, yes, they pulled off essentially
Can I just say that if in real life you could have mosquitoes this big, I don't think that I would continue living on this earth. I think I would uninstall myself, man. Like, pack it up. It was fun. 5 minutes here. I would be like actually so paranoid to leave. Can you imagine that it's like the middle of like summer and this motherfucker sits onto your window? And it's just like rubbing its tiny hand together like a fly. and it's just eyeballing you like you're a snack, and you're just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
A video game miracle with New Vegas. They didn't
You're closing the windows. Bro, I'm never leaving. I'm closing myself in the bathroom. Look at the size of that thing. Imagine the sound just like just let us in. Let us in.
have much time to do it. The engine that they had to use for it was a disaster and a nightmare, and they made one of the greatest games of all time, depending on who you ask. But I don't think that's the same team that can pull this off here now, and much less in that time frame. But giving the IP that you own the value.
Bro, I don't care about like spiders, but I just looked at the thing, the little body still moving a little, and I just got like shivers, and it was like, ugh.
Valuable of Fallout
Horrible.
and Elder Scrolls IP to other studios that have track records with.
I would continue living out of spite. Think about it, this is a mosquito you can punch with full force. And their brain may be big enough to experience torture.
I mean, torturing me, or you want to torture them?
That are very well suited for it potentially is smart, because
Jesus Christ, dude.
Bethesda Game Studios has done everything in their power to squander their IP and to waste it away. So if you're just going to be wasting it away regardless, I think it's much better to have other people that can give it a shot. Because at the end of the day, what we're looking for is not for Bethesda Game Studios to make the game. What we are really looking for as fans, in my opinion, is a studio comprised of people with love, reverence, and understanding for the best parts.
I think at this point, people would just take anyone with a little passion, you know? Just a crumble of passion and maybe respect for the source material. That's all people want.
Of Bethesda Game Studios games. For the best parts of Fallout 3, New Vegas, if you want to include it, the good parts of Fallout 4, and of course, Oblivion, Skyrim, Morrowind, with Skyrim kind of being the cutoff point. The fact that other people
What do you mean this guy is dumb? Why is he dumb?
are going to try and potentially fail is, sure, to Xbox, probably really scary initially. To Bethesda Game Studios, their worst nightmare, that somebody that isn't them is going to tarnish the legacy of the franchise that they created and the one they bought. But I think that to us as fans, it's a better option. Now, it is an option.
There are fans who still say Morrowind is the best game ever, and they're adamant. They want something very specific. Well, I mean, is it bad that some people are really desperately hooked up for a game?
That can end up on
Is it
the
a
very
problem?
opposite side of the spectrum into just corpo bloat, into just farm out the Fallout name. The TV show does well. Let's make
Look, it's that guy. He's the guy who said it is the best game. He's one of those fans. Go and catch him.
sure that we have games being pumped out every 2 to 3 years. Let's make sure we get things with the Elder Scrolls on the metaphorical box as quickly as possible and make money from them. Let's milk these things dry. And that would, of course, also be...
I will be honest with you. I would say you're right. But I think after Fallout 76, people would just accept if it would be like an okay Fallout game. Because everyone still really, really adores the game. They just don't want it dead shite. You know, like even something that it would be as good as like New Vegas or like even 4 was, they would be like, yeah, sure, it's not rocking my socks off, but holy fuck. It's so much better than 76 was.
like very bad. That would be very sad to see.
That's why they gave it to the Wild Webs. No, it's gonna be just okay.
But we might at least get a couple of good years, a couple of interesting entries in the series, which if they were just still left under Bethesda's stewardship, it would probably be no entries ever. Fallout 5 is not even in production, and they didn't have plans to do anything with Fallout except Fallout 76 updates until after Elder Scrolls 6, if you believe that game is...
I'm not even worried about Fallout 5, man. It's not coming, man. If they are announcing now that they are planning it, it's going to take like 10 years.
Ever coming. I'm being a little bit cheeky there. It's coming. I just don't think it's going to be very good. I personally think that this is a...
You see, I actually disagree with him. I don't think it's coming. I think it might be okay, but I don't think it's coming at all.
Very important transition that different parts of the industry, that different companies have to learn how to do. And to cite example,
I don't mean to be like that, but you might have better luck making your girlfriend come than having Fallout 5 to come. You know? Like, the odds are not good. The statistics are not behind us, gentlemen.
Of this, I think that I've brought it up before, that Nintendo has done this.
Good.
Capcom talks about doing it a lot. But Nintendo, for example, with The Legend of Zelda, they wanted new, fresh blood to look at Zelda and try and make something new of it. To bring in their own ideas and see what they could bring to Zelda to keep it fresh and to make new games. And that led to Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Now, some people, of course, hate those games. Sure, fine. Right, but the alternative world where they don't exist and nothing was done at all, which is the example of Bethesda Game Studios, the example of just no Zelda games for the last 10, 12 years, to me is much worse. So this idea of finding the right people who want to continue the legacy and have good ideas to build a studio because that ship of Theseus moment of just like the people that used to be there are no longer there is necessary if you want to preserve the IP value, if you want to keep the games coming out and have them still be regarded at least somewhat positively, even when they're controversial. And that can't happen in a structure like Bethesda Game Studios that refuses to basically do anything, right? So maybe now, both through the fact that they are taking away their IP and being like, we're going to give this out to the people who want to do it. And if not, we're going to find people who want to do it.
What's the worst thing that can happen? They could pull a Prince of Persia. They could toss Fallout 5 to these new devs, make it 75% sure that it's done, and then just cancel it all the way. Oh, hell no. They could do it. Put like a bunch of money into it, and then it's like, oopsie daisy, we would like to focus on something else.
And the other half of that equation being, well, we're going to try and
I hate you so much.
use the entirety of Bethesda's infrastructure to make Bethesda games instead of having each studio be their own little island. I think both of those open up the possibility of people who are really passionate and want to make the good types of Bethesda Game Studios games to make them. And that is worth caring about, even if it ends up being terrible in the end. I also said pretty recently in a video that I feel very similarly about Arcane. I feel like Arcane is one of the best studios in the world, or at least it was. Arcane is responsible for one of the greatest trilogies of video game releases ever made, right?
Dude, Prey was so... I don't know, like, I feel like Prey was done really, really well, but they didn't get the amount of success that I feel like the game would have deserved. I feel like it's almost like a cult hit, and there's many people who love it, but it didn't become as famous as like BioShock or Dead Space or anything. And I don't know why. Because it looked good. It was fun to play. It was sort of challenging, but like not like let me grind 10 hours for it.
They did Dishonored, they did Dishonored 2, and then they did Prey. And I think those three games are just incredible. I constantly, when I'm like jotting down ideas for...
Dude, the amount of times I almost shit myself when those little noodles try to grab my ankle.
Retrospectives and stuff I want to do deep dives into, Dishonored is very, very high on that list. And I completely understand that for them, maybe it
Remember the TV? I'm trying to not remember the TV.
Was a passion project to go and do Blade, a game that they announced.
Dude, I had so many dreams about them. The little ones. Frick, I forgot what they are called. Not the mimics, just like the entire species. I forgot what they were called. It's Typhon, yes.
It's now many, many years ago, and that allegedly at this moment has overrun on its budget, on its production, and that Microsoft is very not happy with Arcane, but they can't sell them off or restructure the company just yet because of French laws. Once again, labor laws stopping giant corporations from...
It's always the French. Every bad decision starts with the French.
Potentially making huge mistakes. But I've said it before that you shouldn't be sitting on an IP like Dishonored and like Prey that people absolutely adore, even if it is just the hardcore gamers, even if
they actually should have. I don't understand why Prey didn't land with people. It was so good. It's only like 24.5K people for something like that. That's insane, bro. Why? Okay, hold on. If I will go... Oh, but they had the remaster. Okay, I will check normal and the remaster. Okay, so the normal, we don't really have good number. Okay, well, maybe it came out long time ago. That's crazy that this is only what they are showing.
if it
Did
even
it
if
come out a bad time? I don't think so.
they are cult hits, and think that the correct solution to having a fantastic studio but that doesn't bring in the most money, not money, because those games did bring in money, but the most money is to find them a Marvel IP that they wanted to work on. Sure, do that, but like, why are you letting them just make Deathloop and then Blade to have it never come out? What are you doing with Prey and with Dishonored? Why are you telling me there is nobody else
The fuck is that?
in technically the largest gaming structure in the
Sir, there was someone in your hole.
world of Xbox, right? With all of the different studios under the umbrella, all of the different people there. You're telling me you can't find a dedicated team that wants to make the next great immersive sim?
I want you to know that I have still kept my Dishonored virginity for you guys, okay? I haven't read up on the story. I never played it. I don't know what it's about. I'm still keeping it just for you.
And call it Dishonored 3? Nobody with passion for that franchise? No new generation of people? Because even if Arcane Leon says, I don't care, even if they say, I don't care, I don't want to make Dishonored 3, somebody does and you own the IP. And people want that experience. Why are we ignoring this? Same with a sequel to Prey, a game that many...
I am still waiting for Bioshock 3. That's my cross to bear. That I am still in the delusional reality where I believe... I'm not talking about Judas. I'm talking about real Bioshock 3. And I'm not even talking about Bioshock Infinite. The OG. 4 technically... Okay, Bioshock Infinite was its own little thing, I feel like. You know? Save Subcopia for us. No, I'm sorry, I have to have all of it.
People consider to be one of, if not the best immersive sim probably ever made. Right? What are you guys doing that you're just sitting on these properties?
Just the thing is that I feel like those games, like many old games, they handled the audience very differently. There was sort of an understanding that players are not retarded, you know? And there was a sort of almost like maturity when it came to storytelling, that they sort of expected you to have a minimum amount of emotional intelligence and whatnot. And now all of the games are coming out, they assume that you're dumb as a rock. And you cannot tell a good story.
This guy is astronomically dumb. He acts like a middle manager.
What?
Dev teams aren't just cogs you can replace. That's why different teams produce wildly different results. They specialize very heavily.
You're just mad because he didn't compliment you.
These gameplay ideas on these oh so valuable IPs, as they always put it, right? Like everything has to...
It's because he didn't call you handsome. You know, you don't need to be salty about it. I can call you that if you like. It's okay.
Be a safe bet, has to be a franchise with easy to project numbers, right? And we come from a time where like announcing...
You're saying that he's dumb because you say that he cannot replace a team. So are you telling me that if there is a company with an IP that they just should stop making games altogether because some of the OGs left? Like, I don't want AAA slop Bethesda. Well, what would you like with your slop?
In sequels to games, you could expect them to do better and better and the cost to be reduced. That's how things used to work in gaming, right? You put up all of this big upfront money for a new IP. It did decently well. You got to reuse a lot of the assets and a lot of the gameplay ideas, a lot of the core of the game, the skeleton. And then you got to build a sequel that everybody went crazy over and launched a franchise. You guys are sitting on Dishonored 2 and Prey, which essentially launched the immersive sim all over again for a whole new generation of people that are still clamoring for it, and you're not doing anything about it? You're letting them do Marvel's Blade? You'd rather make Redfall? Really? No, and it's strange to me because
I'm sorry, I have to see Redfall. Red. Okay, I don't know what I expected, but I did not expect that. I definitely did not expect that. Wow. Well, wow. Fuck. Is it? Damn. That's yeah, that's wow. It's a 3v3. Is it actually a 3v3? Because then it's one team. Like, bro, it might just be just a friend group who was just like, oh yeah, do you guys want to play? There's 6 of us. We can play against each other. And that's it. That's actually amazing. 2 people, 4 bots.
Because at the same time, like,
Bro.
Xbox bought In Exile and they're making Clockwork Revolution and they're like shoving this new IP down our throats. Everybody has to talk about Clockwork Revolution. They're showing it all the time. Basically, a new immersive sim from the people who made Wasteland. All right, cool. But like, obviously you have some interest in this. Why is there nobody working on a new Dishonored? Nobody at all. And instead you've got like 6 years of Blade with nothing to show for it at all. And I hope that this is
I'm gonna be honest with you. As much as I like the idea of people revisiting old IPs, if I would have to choose between making a Bioshock for quote unquote the modern audience or just let the IP die, I would let it die. I would not want it like a modern Bioshock or even like a modern Fallout or something. See, shut the fuck up.
something that you start to see a pattern with. We can go over to Rare, right? Which like it seems to be that Rare is safe. I don't know how because of Sea of Thieves, but like they've been letting Rare do their thing. But like Banjo-Kazooie is still popular. Like, go look at the Smash Brothers DLC sales. Why has there been no new Banjo-Kazooie? Why has there been no Viva Pinata? It's this strange mentality of we want our cake and to eat it too, where it's like, well, we want to have really valuable IP, but also the value.
You say the modern audience needs to die. I think they're doing a good job at killing, like, you know, all those games that was specifically... I am... This guy is gonna be mad at me, but I am so curious for God of War Lofi. I need to know how well that game is going to do. I just need to know. That's my personal little pet project. I am waiting. I'm pausing and champing. You know? I think it's not going to be a flop. I think it's going to be absolutely mid. I think it's going to be sort of like a meh.
IP we have we don't want to use. And to me, the idea that despite all of the negative stuff happening in the industry,
He said laundry wrong. Oh, apologies.
that Xbox is willing to give it a final try is really important. Them willing to tighten screws and say, okay, we're going to take away this IP because like Bethesda Game Studios, you've been useless. That's just the fact. That's just the way that things are. Let's see what we can cook up here to take advantage of this. If they can screw their head on straight, it would be good, it would be valuable, and I think it would benefit us as customers. Which leads me to something I alluded to at the very start of the video, which is Xbox could do the funniest thing right now, right? Like, we keep talking about the PlayStation physical media, just how much the customer is not valued. We don't matter. We don't matter at all anymore, right? And how they could do the inverse of what happened with the Xbox One back in the day, where they said DRM on disc for games, and PlayStation pivoted and said, no DRM, look at us, we win now. And they could come out with a pro-customer approach. And we all know it'd be fake, but it'd be to try and take back momentum from PlayStation. And I've seen people out there say that that's not possible, that they don't have the people, the numbers, that they don't have.
Did I dream that they said that there was a company that will actually allow that if you buy physical goods, it doesn't matter what the price you bought it in, if you register it in their store, you get to keep it as a digital. Was it Steam? I swear I didn't hallucinate that. I thought that was Xbox. It wasn't PlayStation. GOG was... No. Was it?
A way to actually pull off that move, nor do they actually have like the gumption. But here's the flip side of it. There's been complaints that Asha Sharma just listens too much to Twitter. That like genuinely she sits there on Twitter and actually...
Oh no, she's a retweeter. It's so Joe over.
Like listens to what people say for better and for worse, including like hardcore fanboys with delusions. This might be the one time that is an actual objective benefit for them. Because Xbox, not saying, you know, go hard on physical media, but Xbox going hard...
So what I'm hearing is that if I would tweet at her and be like, Asha, do the next meeting in a bikini, then is she going to do it? If I get enough likes, could she do the next Xbox presentation for me personally in a bikini?
On actually valuing their customers and offering something of tangible ownership or digital ownership rights, backwards compatibility content.
50-50 you get blocked. Oh no.
The ability to maybe port a bunch of the older Xbox games directly to PC, for example, and have those run on the Xbox app. There are a number of goodwill things that Xbox could do right now.
The glowing one, that's me whenever I go out to the sun. I reflect the light, the glowing one.
That would directly lead towards people viewing Xbox as the good guys again, like they did with the Xbox 360. And the only time that I think it's really possible for them to wrestle back a little bit of control of the console market, of the video game market in general, is when PlayStation is at an all-time low. There are factors there that complicate it. Of course, you've got,
It's not really complicated, bro. PlayStation just keeps digging. It's like, it's almost like they have the option to choose the right path, but they're constantly using and stepping onto the wrong one. Like, whoever gave the green light to make Concord for that expensive, that's insane, bro.
Hardware RAM apocalypse, you've got supply chains, you've got the internal restructuring that they're doing is massive, but there's this tiny chance, right? Even if it is 1 in a million, that they make the right series of decisions that repositions them in a good spot. And that is something that I don't think will ever happen again. I think that you're looking at something where the stars will never be aligned for there to be a chance. And if I were Xbox, I would very carefully be trying to analyze the way to take advantage of that. Be that by actually releasing great games and franchises that people love, or by taking customer-first approaches that make people say, oh wow, right, there are alternatives on the market.
Hold up, are you telling me that big companies should just actually focus and make something good and people would eat it up? No. No. Impossible. Say it ain't so. I don't believe it. I don't. No. Pinch me right now.
Market compared to the assholes over at PlayStation who have just gone completely mask off, right? And of course, that's a combination of those two things at the same time would absolutely help this medium, help customers, and help the health of the industry by having legitimate competition. And because Asha is trapped on Twitter and trapped on social media, I think that there's a...
I'm sorry, but can I just say that it's such a woman thing? That she's addicted to social media. She's like, I am the CEO of big Xbox company, but also me. I'm just going to read every single comment about it. I just need to know what the people are saying. I can't stop. I'm stuck on Twitter. Save me. She's just a girl.
A really good chance of that happening.
The bikini, Asha. The bikini.
Right now. And I mean, there's good strategists, there's good people on board. There seems to be like a 50-50 of good and necessary ideas and terrible ideas happening at the same time, all at once at Xbox. For the shot.
I'm gonna be real with you. I stopped believing in miracles. I feel like that at this point, the only companies you can trust is either Asian companies, because if Asian companies fuck up, their public is going to bully them to death. Like, it's like, you know, the Love and Deep Space people, when they just like casually put like cow dung onto your door because they didn't like what you did. That and indies. You know, like actual indies, not like mixtape indies, like actual indies who still make a game because they want to make something amazing.
That's out there. And in the interest of customer health, of the health of competition in the video game space, if anybody at Xbox is watching, you have
Asian companies would kill us with, that's just China. Just play something else.
An opportunity in the market to do something meaningful. Go ask your chief strategist, Matthew Ball.
I'm sorry. What did you say his name was?
Do something meaningful. Go ask your chief strategist, Matthew Ball.
Nice. I think Link would be a big fan of this guy.
You truly have a chance. Seize it, please. And meanwhile, hopefully, the absolute disaster that is Bethesda Game Studios is going to have a crying Todd Howard because his babies have been ripped out of his hands. But, you know, maybe it's what they need. Maybe it's the wake-up call, man. And it's as simple as. We know that Arcane is on what it's on. We know that Machine Games
Drugs. They are on drugs.
is working on a Wolfenstein 3, which I'm very excited for. We know that it just got ripped in half, but we'll see what happens with that moving forward. For me, the Doom games are like, the trilogy of Doom games is incredible and a miracle that it happened.
A Doom. I thought he said Dune. I thought that the Dune games were ass. I was surprised that he's like, oh, he's into the Dune games?
I don't want to get into like the stats because we don't really have the Xbox sales nor the Xbox.
They were Dune games? Yeah, but it wasn't too hot. Question mark.
Xbox Game Pass sales, but I think those games are fantastic and deserve a ton of success. Even if they did price in the euros, they priced the Dark Ages at 80.
Ooh, you are sexy. Look at you, Chico Link. Are you seducing me? Around.
Dark Ages at 80 euro. Why are you crazy? But whatever. And I would like to see it be successful instead of having all of their engineers, like all of their programmers, destroyed basically. But I do think that some of this change, especially when it comes to saving franchises that I now basically have very little to no hope in anymore, I think that is a good thing. I'd rather this than just letting Todd cook, because they haven't been cooking Wagyu steak, man. They've been cooking ragged t-shirts, and somehow
they have been cooking Asmongold's $3.50 steak for quite a while now. Not gonna lie, it's definitely not the finest excellence of Japan.
Been starting kitchen fires, and if you don't believe me, go play Starfield. In any case,
I don't wanna.
It's good to be back, and ideally, stuff will work and is working with the setup. But it's good to be back. There's a lot to talk about. I'll be talking about some Pal World real soon because I'm having a blast with that. I'll be talking about some other games. There's always a lot to talk about.
Dude, I'm curious about Pal World now. I had no idea that it's only 20-something bucks. That's amazing. Paul would mention again, everything is Pal and everything is World. It's everywhere. No, everywhere is nowhere.